Hello, welcome guys, welcome to today's video. This is going to be a discussion about our monthly meal planning, and I just wanted to go over where I'm at on my first month of doing this. I decided, after watching a lot of videos on budgeting, time and time again, it's like I've come to the realization like I'm not fully grasping the whole concept of budgeting, and so with that entails meal planning. So on today's video, guys, we're going to be discussing monthly meal planning on a budget, the benefits of it, and hopefully finding some ways to get on board with meal planning, and hopefully take that stride so to get better at it, because that is my goal in budgeting, is finding better ways to handle my money, but also just finding ways that will help me get out of debt. And so one thing I wanted to go over was just the benefits truly out of budgeting your meal plans, and it is a concept that they do go hand in hand with budgeting. You have to take into consideration meal planning, and if you do it right, it can be a powerful financial gain that you learn. And also a lot of times I will be guilty of this myself, is we use our tiredness as an excuse. We use things that get in the way of our day-to-day life as an excuse to not meal plan. And I remember growing up, like my parents, I grew up a very traditional family. My mom was a housewife, a housewife up until my dad was passed away in 2013, and and she took care of us kids. She made sure we did what we were supposed to be doing. She handled it all, as far as and making sure we were on. We ate, and we ate good. I will say that. One thing I could say about my parents growing up was my dad was the breadwinner, and he worked 2 to 3 jobs to provide for us. There were 7 of us. And mind you, I was 8 years after my sister. So my other siblings are between like 8 and 16 years older than me, and my twin brother. And so with that, of course, my parents, did struggle, and it was. But the thing about my parents, what I always noticed was my parents never showed that we struggled. My dad did everything to make sure we had everything we had available to us. I heard stories of, when I was little, and from my older siblings, of my dad walking through the snow. He didn't have a vehicle, just to get to his job from point A to point B. But he did it all just because he took care of his family. And you don't see that, that often, and it's becoming a rare thing to see. And it's, it's a blessing, that we still have, families that do that. But yeah, no, my mom, and so we never starved. I will say we did not starve. Like my parents made sure we were on beans and rice growing up. Like that is comfort food for me. Like, we can hear about it from Dave Ramsey time and time again, but from childhood, that was our main meal. My dad was a chef. He was sometimes a traveling chef, and as he got, progressed in his career, he was able to do those things. But the whole, we did not go without ever knowing that we were struggling. I don't know how much, my parents made I mean, their income, as far as like, because they were married, they were combined, but and so they made sure we always had a roof over our head, we had electricity, we had water, we had all the things that we need to survive. And then also, we always had full bellies, you know? And one thing about that was we always ate at home. Like, my mom always cooked. You know, she made beans and potatoes, or beans and rice. She made, and then she did different concoctions within those 3 ingredients just to change it up for us. But she always made sure we had each of us had enough to eat. And so we never starved. And so that was something I could say that, you know, I saw as my parents. And I wish my kids were babies, I will say, like, I did that, and we hardly, like, it was probably a weekend thing, treat that we did, you know, when my kids were babies. You know, we were able to, you know, go and eat out during the weekend. That was probably a one-day thing that we did. But throughout the week, I mean, I was working and I was coming home and I made dinner. And we sat at the table and we made sure we did that. But then it started falling off. And so as time progressed, of course, I started eating out more. And it was become more of me being so tired from working and not, you know, wanting to cook, that I decided to just, you know, let's go pick up something to eat. And so I want to get back into that. And you know, and to truly be financially successful in your budgeting, I know I need to go back to meal planning, and I know I need to get back into the game, and making it a constant everyday thing. So I have taken steps and strides. One thing I've always wanted was a big kitchen. I have a big dining room, but I have a small kitchen. Like, you can walk into my kitchen, and it's never been very inviting to me to cook. I used to love to cook. That was the one thing I can say, as I used to love to cook. I used to love making recipes, coming up with different recipes. I used to do that. And I know now it was like, I mean, when I moved into my home, and I still did it at that time, but it was just like, I stopped wanting to cook in my kitchen because it was just not, you know, very inviting to me. And so, because it's just like a walk away kitchen, stove, fridge, and it's just barely a narrow enough to just be in there. You know, everybody's now is open rooms, you know, in open homes, with the kitchen being the center point because that's where everybody is and whatnot. For me, I don't have that option. And, you know, hopefully maybe one day I will be able to have that, but currently I don't. So for me, I am finding ways to make my kitchen more convenient for me, that will make me be okay in the kitchen to cook. I mean, I cook, and I will cook a meal, but it's like, it just becomes such a nuisance. So I did take strides, and I ended up, and maybe I'll put a picture in here, I don't know, I'll see. I did end up getting one of my old TVs, one little, I don't know, 12, 14 inch, maybe a 16 inch, I don't know what sizes they are, but it's just a little flat screen that I've had for years. It wasn't being used, and my son really used it for his gaming. I had it in the garage, and when I would do my crafting stuff, I would have the TV on in there, and then I just stopped using it. Well, I ended up pulling that TV out, and I ended up putting a shelving on my wall, and I do plan on getting a wall mount, because I know I can't leave the TV like that. I mean, it's sturdy and everything, but it's just, I don't want to chance it. And so I ended up putting that TV in there and setting it up so I can watch, whether I'm watching a movie that I don't want to stop watching, or something on TV that I don't want to stop watching to cook and stuff like that. Now I can do that. And I just put it where it's easy for me to see from the kitchen. and you know, it doesn't interfere with the dining room or nothing like that. It's just more angled toward the kitchen. And so I'm taking those strides to do that so that I can cook more into my kitchen. And so I think that's one thing that, you know, we have to take into account, is that you have to make your kitchen inviting for you to want to cook. And so that's what I'm trying to do. And so that's, you know, the gist of it really is, you know, make it more comfortable for you. And then also with the ingredients that you get, you got to get things that you like, things that you know you can change up, you know, different meals with. So I am working on that, you know. I'm not much of a meat eater, as some of you may know or not know. I did a program for like 6 months where I did strictly vegan diet, and it really, at first it was hard. My doctor for years tried to get me to do it. I hesitated. I fought her. I was like, no, I ain't doing it. Where's my protein? I need my protein. And of course she finally convinced me. She was like, just try the program for 3 months, and then from there it'll, you know, hopefully keep on going. And so it did. And so I don't eat much meat. And one thing about it is I don't eat much meat, in the fact that meat now makes me feel very sluggish. I know some people are like, oh, you need your protein. I do get my protein. I do eat a lot of legumes, beans, and so on and so forth, just everything you can. And there is vegetables do have protein. I know a lot of people say that they don't, but there are vegetables that you can get protein out of. And so mushrooms is one, you know. And so, and that's one of my meat replacements. But that's beside the point. I don't want to get into a spiel about that. But I don't eat much meat. So I'm trying to find ways to eat a lot of protein, get back into my meal planning where I'm buying bulk veggies and stuff like that. So I do plan on doing hopefully a video of my next grocery haul, just so you guys can see what I'm planning to do. And I'm going to plan it out where I can make, you know, depending on what ingredients I get, how many meals I can make out of that certain different meals. Not so much how many of the same meal, but how many times can I change up that particular item to make it where I don't get bored with what I'm eating and I'm like over it, you know. So that's one thing I'm planning on doing for my meal plan. And then also just staying on budget with it, you know. So my plan going forward in this month for August is that I would do, you know, for July I did a generic brand, you know, items. I would purchase items as a generic brand rather than buying name brand stuff. And I pretty much think I did that. And I wish I would have tracked it, and I didn't. But I will plan on doing that maybe in this next month. But for August, my plan is to make meals out of, like, so I get paid twice a month. And so my plan is to, at least within $100 for 2 weeks, is to meal plan within, so $50 a week is what I plan to do, meal planning. And so I want to take different ingredients, get stuff that is $50, and then be able to make a week's worth of meals, and then being able to change it up how I can. And so that's what I plan to do for August. This has all been an adjustment to me. July was more of like learning how to get your meals out there. But I'm gonna go over this here shortly and show you guys where I stood at, as far as like if I'm eating out and whatnot. And if there was any eating out, I will explain to you guys whether it was covered by me or it was covered by somebody else. Okay. But yeah, so one thing about budgeting and meal planning is that it gives you financial control. And so budgeting and meal planning might seem like separate tasks, but they help you identify areas where you can cut back and allocate funds more effective. So this approach offers a significant reduction in your grocery expenses for one, allowing you to buy only what you need and avoiding impulse purchases. So by planning meals ahead, you will be able to take advantage of sales and discounts. And this empowers you to make informed financial decisions and reach your savings goal faster. Okay, so that's one thing to look at it. And I'm going to take those steps to try to get my head in the game, basically. And then also with that comes reduced food waste. So meal planning reduces the chances of overbuying ingredients or letting them spoil in your fridge. And I can attest to that. Fruits and veggies, some tomatoes. Oh, my biggest pet peeve is when they go bad. But I buy the bulk tomatoes and I'm like, okay, I need to eat these. Like, do not go bad. And so this translates to saving money on wasted food, which is beneficial for the environment. So, and if you get spoiled food, throw it outside in the yard. Maybe you'll grow a garden eventually. I know I've done that with tomatoes, where you started growing just randomly somewhere. And then also it just promotes healthier eating. So budgeting and meal planning allow you to make deliberate choices about what you eat. Besides ensuring that your meals are balanced and nutritious, it's easier to control portion sizes, promote healthier eating habits, and prevent overconsumption. So by incorporating more fruits, vegetables, and whole grains into your diet, you minimize the consumption of foods that are high in calories, sugar, and unhealthy fats. And I will go over that because I will give you somewhat of a rundown of what I have in my fridge. Eventually, guys, I want to be able to do like a grocery haul where I can show you guys everything that I purchased within my budgeting. But I also am going to take into consideration, I do plan, and why I've cut back on my budgeting so much money on my grocery bill is because I do have food. I looked at my pantry, I looked at my fridge, and I looked at everything, and I'm like, I have actually food, cans of beans, rice, all these different things in my pantry right now that I can actually use to make meals, and I won't do it, or I don't do it because it's like, oh, I don't want to have to come up with a meal. That is not mind frame I need to stay in. So I need to stay out of that, right? So, and then also the whole meal planning is time saving. If you really think about it, if you meal plan, planning meals in advance helps you save time during busy weekdays. So instead of figuring out what to cook each day, you can prep ingredients ahead of time. Also, and that's where I want to look at my pantry and look at everything I have whenever I do my next grocery haul and try to make meals out of each of those items that I'm going to be getting and making combinations where I can. And then also you can cook meals in bulk, make it easy to stick to your meal plan. One thing you can make in bulk is, of course, beans. Your beans can go in, throughout the week. Rice, if you do rice with butter, season it up however you want. That can be multiple meal plans right there, and change it up because you can make rice sweet, and you can make it like regular salted rice or whatever you want to make out of it, right? Like Spanish rice or anything like that. And then also it just helps on the last part of it, and it's probably the most important thing, is that it is family. It gives you the family and social benefits. So deciding on meals together can foster a sense of togetherness and communication within families. In addition to hosting meals at home, you can get, you can make those better bonds with your family, especially like if you have little ones and they want to start learning how to cook and whatnot. You can start incorporating that in your meal plans and say, okay, what's something easy that they can help me cook with? And as adults and becoming teenagers and adults, and if they, family comes over, they're taking strides to help. I will say my son has learned how to cook, and he does whenever he's not working, crazy hours that he tends to do. I mean, he will take what I've shown him, and he can cook. He's learning how to cook more and more, to be able to, feed himself where he's not eating out all the time. Those are just a few of the things benefits of meal planning while on a budget, guys. And so right now we're going to go ahead and jump into my monthly meal plan for July. We're going to finish it up. I'm only 2 days away. I'll catch you up on what I'm going to be doing tonight, and then for the next 2 days of July, and then moving into getting ready for August. So as you guys can see, I have a whole lot of stuff written here. These are all the things that I've actually, whether I've eaten out or I've, ate at home, meal plan for so I'm going to go ahead and get my calendar, which I always forget which one is that. So we're going to jump in here. The last time I highlighted was for the 5th. So I'm going to catch up all of the highlights. So for yellow highlight, it is for me dining at home. And then for anything in blue, I decided to go ahead and make that where dined out. Okay. So for this, I'm going to go ahead and use my highlights so I can check these off as I'm going through them. So on the 1st, of course, I had chicken and rice, and which I made at home. So the chicken and rice, we had leftovers. I made beans and potatoes. And then for 4th of July, we went to a barbecue. I did not have to worry about cooking, but I did end up taking just like a, when you're invited to someone's house, you always take something as a gift, right? Took my friend a wine bottle. And then on the 5th, we had egg, sausage, gravy, toast for breakfast, and bean tostadas, and then chicken barbecue. I made that at home. So on here, I had the 3rd was a eat out. So let me see. We did. So I did eat out. The beans and potatoes were for breakfast. So, but I did go get burritos for us. That's right. The 7th I missed, so I don't remember what I had there. Taco Tuesday, we did eat out, but that was covered. I did not pay that, which I'm trying to get my son to get off of eating out. When he's like, Mom, let's go eat here. I'm like, now I'll just go start cooking something. I'm like, well, let's just eat at home. So I am trying to shift his brain into not eat. And he's doing it. He is doing it. So he did eat out, but I'm going to go ahead and put that as a blue because it should, we didn't save money that way. Homemade spaghetti. We went to Mr. Gatti's. So Thursdays are becoming a tradition for us to go out to eat with my granddaughter. So we did go to a pizza place so she can play games and whatnot, And then Friday, these are my 2 bad days. So I ate out here. Chick-fil-A, we ate out here. So that was a bad week, I will say, for me. And then another jump burrito meal. So, and then we had leftovers, which I don't remember what I ate. You know why? Because it's Monday. So here lately I've been like not wanting to eat, and it's, I mean, I eat breakfast, but I'm like, I take like a small breakfast. Plus at work we have customers bringing us breakfast all the time, so I do get an occasional breakfast from work. And then also, guys, mind you, I also get provided lunch for us. So my company, they are great, man. They are just awesome. I've only been there 2 months, but they provide us meals Monday through Thursday. Half day Friday, if you work half day, then you don't get a meal on Friday. But if you do work throughout the whole day, then you get a meal. So for me, I've been able to eat off of just my lunch, and I can go take it home. And it's not that I get like, I don't want to be wasteful for one, but I do get like the money that we get $25 a day per person for each of us. So I get $25 a day for Monday through Thursday. That's $100 a month. I mean a week. $400 a month. So you don't think I can get 2 meals out of $25? I do. So here lately, what I've been doing is anytime I get my lunch, I do end up bringing it home. So that's what I've been doing a lot with my leftovers, is because a lot of it is, I mean, they're huge meals that I'm getting, and I don't eat a lot as it is. Like, I get full easily. And so I don't eat a lot. So that's one of the benefits of me being able to do this, is that I'm making 2 meals out of my lunch. So what I get from that is, and what I bring home. You know, there's days where I don't want to, like, I can eat a meal at work, get my lunch, and like even today I had a chicken salad that I got from work. Not a chicken salad, it was a chicken sandwich with avocado and alfalfa sprouts, and what else? Avocado, and it had bacon. So it was, and I only ate half of it. But also I did make pasta last night, and I made pasta 2 ways. Pasta 2 ways for me is I made one portion with chicken and one without, and it had veggies, and it had, you know, all the things in the pasta, and then I made it into with oat milk, like a cream sauce. And that's what I had for dinner tonight. So, but I brought my leftover, because I did not eat all of it. It was a big sandwich, and so I brought it home, and my son ended up taking care of the rest of it. Like, it was more than half of a sandwich that I ate. And I mean, it was probably about this size, and I probably ate like probably a third of it, and he had the rest. So I'm trying to do things like that, and even at that, like, I mean, I eat my leftovers. I'm okay with it. I used to not be okay with leftovers, depending on what it is. If there's certain food items that I can't do leftovers on, I will not do it. It just does not taste the same way to me. Mashed potatoes is one that I cannot do. I'm trying to do better with that, but I cannot do leftover mashed potatoes because they dry up. And I know you can just add a little bit of milk or water, you know, heat it up real easily, slowly, fast, but I can't do it. So we did that, and then I did end up making a meal at home on the 17th, 18th, which was on that Friday. I ended up eating out. So we did do a little bit better from the previous week, and we only ate out 1 day of that week, and then I missed 2 days here, the 19th and 20th. But I did have leftovers on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Well, Thursday we ended up taking my granddaughter to the pizza place. Then Friday I made a dinner. I made some meat with red potatoes, not red potato, well, red potatoes, but a red sauce, like a Mexican red sauce. Enchilada, red sauce, kind of. And then, of course, on Saturday, I made pasta 2 ways, and then this was Sunday. Pasta 2 ways, Saturday, I think I have my days off. And then leftovers today for the 28th. So, and then I have tomorrow, I'm going to start making beans tonight. So I'm going to get my beans ready here shortly. After I do this video, I'm going to go clean up my beans, get them ready, prepped for tomorrow. I'll put them in my crock pot, have them cook throughout the whole day while I'm at work. And then I should be good. By dinner time, or by the time I get off, they will be ready, and then I'll be able to use that to make a meal. Plan on making a meal with it. I don't know yet what it is, but we will have beans for tomorrow, along with whatever I decide to make. I was thinking of rice and beans for sure, but I might just make bean burritos because we can do bean burritos easily. And then I have the 30th and the 31st, so those will be coming up. But since I'm making beans, I will have beans for the 30th and 31st. For the rest of the week, I'll probably have beans meals. I can make bean burritos for one day, beans and rice. Another, I can do beans, like bean. I call them tostadas, but they're bean chalupas. Easily make those, and then you can make bean tacos. I've made bean tacos, so the sky's the limit when it comes to beans. So that's what I plan on doing for the rest of the week, until I go grocery shopping on the weekend. So I do plan on going grocery shopping, so I can hopefully bring you guys into seeing what I'm going to be purchasing for my meals going forward into August. And that is the plan for this meal plan. So let me go ahead and highlight the rest. So the way up to the 7th, all the way up to the 8th. So I'll be able to highlight all yellow here, here, and then the 8th. Ooh. 8th, 9th, so the 9th, we're going to highlight in blue, 10, 11, 12, and 13, all the way through the 13th. Gonna do better this time. My plan is to do better, cut as much of the blue out and have more yellow. Going forward in the months to come, hopefully this month, we will do a lot better. And then we have the 18th and the 25th are the only other days that we ate out. 18 and 25. Okay, and the rest will get the yellow. All right, and now we have the weekend. And on this calendar too, I do have it where meal plans, if I check off each of these little boxes here, well, the little circles, so there's meal plan stickers here, or circles. that just means I'm going to check off if I had completed a week where I did not eat out. And I cannot say I didn't. Each week I ate out. So we're going to see if we can work on that. That's something to work on. So I can't, I'm going to put 0 because I did not hit a goal for that. So, and, you know, eventually this will become something of a savings for me to start doing. That's why I put those in there, because I wanted to incorporate savings. Eventually, I'm just working on some other savings first, and then we shall see. But this is pretty much it for the monthly meal plan. I will start working on getting my August calendar ready. You guys will see that here in the next video, or in the next couple videos, because I do have to close out the month of July. And this is what this will go into. And we will see our food intake and see where we're at. But yeah, guys, that is pretty much it. I hope you guys have found this to be useful information. I hope you guys are, you know, planning a way to budget yourself with your meal planning. And let me know in the comments if you do meal plan. And maybe even throw out some pointers for myself. That way we can help me stay on track to get, you know, better with my meal plans. With that being said, guys, I'm going to go ahead and give you back your time. Much love. If you did like this video, give it a thumbs up. I don't know if I just said that. I probably did. But also, let's use hashtag meal plan for today. It just lets me know you guys watch all the way up to here. And I will see you on the next one. Bye.